All right. Howdy, howdy, Twitch. Howdy, howdy, YouTube. How you doing? How are things going? I'm gonna bring you up on the full screen right away, just so we can get the music to stop playing. But you'll notice that my camera down in the corner is having a little bit of an issue, and we're gonna be troubleshooting that just here in a moment. So we'll see you in just a second. But we gotta do some fixing. I'm fixing to get that fixing done here. We were having some issues with the camera for the last couple of days, and I thought the camera was overheating, because that is a thing, especially with these bigger cameras. The camera that I use is definitely overkill, but I basically took the whole rig apart, and I think I just had some loose connections. So we're putting the rig back together here, so I hope that you'll bear with me for just a few moments while we finish doing that, and then we'll get going. We were planning on having a late start to the stream anyway, because my boomer neighbor was working out in his yard. These boomer retirees, they've got nothing better to do than to mow their lawn 5 times a week. So that's what we were dealing with. But it seems like he's done for the day. But let's see if I can maneuver this camera into position without destroying everything. Oh my God, what a ridiculous setup I've got. All right, camera into position. Holy, why am I like this? Why do I have to, ooh, we're gonna do it this way. Like, once it's all set up, I think it's pretty good, but God, I have definitely not made life easy for myself here. All right, camera, please sit on there. And now we gotta find thing. There we go. Probably could have done all this off stream, but I didn't want to leave people wondering like, hey, is the stream happening at all today? So this is what we're doing. And I just have to get this lined up. You bastard. All right, let's really get in here. What is going on here? God. All right, let's take the lens off. Jesus Christ. All right. There we go. Just finding that thread. Jesus. Oh my God, I didn't. Oh my God. Is that not it? Okay, that is it. Okay, Jesus. Okay, lens back on. All right. Riveting live stream content for us here. All right, and back to it. Lens. All right, lens in position, and we may get video in the next couple of seconds here. We should get it right about now. Well, there. Maybe? Hey, we've got video again. All right, now we gotta fix the zoom and the focus. Look at this mess. Holy. All right. So we want to zoom in a bit here. And then we want focus to be about right here, I think is where I want my focus to be. So let's see here. About right there. Pretty good. All right. To where even if I'm a bit far back, no, you know what? Let's focus a little bit further back. Let's get it like right here, maybe. That's probably good. To where if I'm back here, yes, we're still in focus, and I lean into the mic, I don't get too soft there. We're on a 16 to what is that lens? A 16 to 35 2.8 L, and we're all the way zoomed in at 35 millimeters, and we're all the way wide open at f2.8. So that all means that our depth of field is quite shallow. That's why the background is nicely blurred out. Howdy! Welcome to the stream. Holy! Lots of moving parts here up ahead. Like I said, the neighbor was running all the yard equipment, and that was annoying, but we're good to go. Welcome to the stream. My name is Jimmy Moreland, voice talent, audiobook narrator, and music producer. And today on the stream, we are going to be going into doing our voiceover auditions on the biggest voiceover casting websites. That's voices.com, voice123.com, and then we'll head over to ACX and see if there's any audiobook work that we're interested in. We are chock full of audiobook work, though, and we're going to be getting to that later on the stream. We're going to be doing some real-life audiobook work. When we get to that point in the stream, I will have to shut down YouTube, though. Working with this publisher that I am, basically YouTube is a no-go because of basically the way YouTube archives stuff. It's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't need to worry about. But we're going to... we are going to... this may be a little silly, but I am worried about my stomach growling. And I have not had anything to eat today. So I got my little mini, my little rat lunch here that I'm gonna scarf down, and let's see if we got something interesting. You know what? We're gonna actually zoom this camera in just a little bit more so that light up in the corner isn't. Oh, okay. Well, then I guess we're gonna have to move something if that's as far as we can actually zoom in. I'm trying to think what on earth might have changed to where. Let's take a look here. Maybe we need to come further in. That seems to have somehow been effective. All right, we're going to call that good enough. I think that's fine. Yeah. Oh, let's bring the light back over so that we're professionals again. About right there. That seems about right. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put you on the BRB stream. I might keep talking to you, but you're going to at least have some music under my voice so that you don't hear me chopping away. If you're wondering what I'm eating, because I am in full rat mode, I'm eating some tuna and some crackers because I'm trying to become less of a huge, disgusting slob. So, BRB on the stream. Some nice natural audio for us here. We're going to grab this. Jimmy, why didn't you start the stream 15 minutes late instead of showing us all this horrible behind the scenes? Well, you know, sometimes that's just how it do. Yeah, excited for some of the stuff that's coming up. All right. And that quick. All right. That quick. We're all set. Wipe off my crumbs. Oh, yeah. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're ready to get to work. I hope things are going well for you. How are things doing out there? We got started on this audiobook last night, and we got some good work done, and I'm excited to get some more done today. All right, let's get down to business. This is what we're looking at today. We got Pro Tools on the left. We've got voices.com and Voice123 on the right. We're trying something a little bit different today. We're trying to have our mic set a little bit hotter than it has been in the past. And something that means is that we need to go into our settings here, and we're going to make a couple of adjustments. First of all, the trim on our initial compressor will come down just a little bit, and that might be all we need to do. Let's see here. Checking 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's probably fine. That's probably all we need to do, actually. We'll see if we need to just resetting that threshold, and maybe the gain on that first compressor might be all that we need to do. Shouldn't have to do anything on any other part of that chain. So let's take a look at what we got. Let's reload the page. Make sure we got the newest info. Taking a look here. Male or female voice for online video. Let's see here. Okay, so this is kind of a cheeky little line here. So, aside from taking my breath away, what do you do for a living? Sure, you know, it's so short. Yeah, there are 54 people in line ahead of us, but it's so short, and it's got a decent budget, and we can have a little bit of fun with this line, so we're going to go ahead and read it. Little bit of a truck passing. Holy, you can see that in the waveform there. Here we go. So, aside from taking my breath away, what do you do for a living? So, aside from taking my breath away. So, aside from taking my breath away, what do you do for a living? So, aside from taking my breath away, what do you do for a living? I think that's the one. I don't even know if I want to submit more than one. I mean, yeah, we'll submit something else here. So, aside from taking my breath away, what do you do for a living? Sure, we'll give them that. I think the first read is definitely the most likely one that they would like. Really short script here. Hoping my interpretation is correct or, you know, in the ballpark of what they actually want. I can't see many other ways you could interpret that. Like, if they don't want it to be read like smarmy and creepy like that, then I'm sorry, don't write a smarmy, creepy line like that. There is no way that there's no way to read that in another way. I'm sorry. We're just going to title this by the job number 725537. Bounce that out. Turn this back off. Reply to job. Here we go. They want a directed session for something like this. Okay, fine, whatever. Grab the file. There it is. And send it off. Okay. Next. Track up and ready to go. 60-second radio short feature. The budget is $251. In case you were worried. Interesting. Okay, so it's a radio ad. I'm curious about the usage because it being a radio ad category, maybe this budget isn't enough. Just depends on the usage. We've got a reference file here. I'm curious if this is like pronunciation of the client name. Okay. Obviously, why am I even seeing this? Like, clearly you should be wanting a female narrator. I don't know why they're considering a male narrator for this. And if specifically they want a male narrator, whatever. That ain't us. Investing opening video, 94 responses ahead of us in line. That is the danger of getting to the show late. So let's see here. Yeah, okay. We're probably gonna pass on this because there are so many people in line ahead of us. And that's okay. That's just how it is sometimes. Sekisui. Like if this is Japanese, it would be sekisui. It's a little strange. LCA video. Maybe we'll get some context for what the hell's going on here. Sekisui Specialty Chemicals Life Cycle Analysis Video Voiceover Script in the spirit of innovation and sustainability. So that's fine and all. If you've got clients need to have a little bit of self-awareness and sort of help us help you. If you've got a company or a product name like this, you need to include a reference file or at least type out how we are intended to pronounce that. Like, yeah, I could do a bunch of my own research, but now you're sending, dozens of talent out on a wild goose chase to maybe get your client's product name correct. Or you could just type it out or include a reference MP3, and you could save all of us a bunch of time, and you'll make sure that every single audition that you get has the correct pronunciation. I can't imagine the kinds of pronunciations that this client is going to get. Just why not help yourself? Help us help you. 154 responses ahead of us in line here because we've got a big old budget. Category is television ad. I'm curious about the usage. This big budget might actually be very, very far under the appropriate pay scale. Depends. Nice cowboy twang. I mean, this would be a perfect job for us. We don't have any information about usage. It says television ad national 1 year. Sorry, this is a crap budget. No way. Television national 1 year? This is such a bummer. Okay. And if Wrangler, this can't be right. Like, for a year of national television. So, okay, we gotta talk about this. Why budgets aren't what they are, and how this all works. So, you might be thinking, well, Jimmy, it's just 10 words, 4 seconds. It's just this. How long does it take you to say that? It doesn't take me any time. The issue is the way that anytime something is television or radio, there is something called conflicts. And what that means is, so if I do this ad for Wrangler, and I'm assuming this is Wrangler jeans, not Wrangler Jeeps. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life. So I think that this is probably, let's just say it's jeans. So if I do this ad for Wrangler jeans, that means for 1 year, I cannot do any similar work for any similar company. So I can't do an ad for Levi or Lee or Oshkosh Bagosh or any of these other brands because my voice is already on the air, or at least it's contracted to be conflicted out for a whole year for television. So if Levi comes to me in 6 months and says, hey, we love your voice. We heard it on this Walmart commercial. We want to have you for our tie-in with Walmart, and it's promoting our new line of jeans, and we want to give you $50,000. Great. Oh, wait. I'm conflicted out for another 6 months because of this $2,000 job that I did for Wrangler 6 months ago. And suddenly you miss out on the $50,000 job because you took the $2,000 job that conflicted you out. Now, this sounds like I'm like, oh, you were cutting off your nose to spite your face. Like you're not taking these jobs because of this, like, mythical fairy tale one-day job. These are things that, like, they really do come up. They really are. It's just good business practice to not give away the store. So, like, we see these two words a lot, in perpetuity. I don't know if you can see that on the stream. We need to shift things so that you can see my whole screen here. I think if I just do this. Yeah, now we can see the whole screen again. Sorry about that. So this right here, in perpetuity, that's a problem because you're potentially conflicted out of that category forever. Now, for non-broadcast, the way the industry has evolved, like if it's non-broadcast, so it's just going up on some website or on YouTube, even if it's like YouTube pre-roll ads, even if it's streaming pre-roll ads, generally conflicts are kind of like, we've sort of understood this is the Wild West. There's no longer just 3 broadcast channels and, 60 cable channels. There are infinite channels where your voice could go, especially when you are looking at non-broadcast. So conflicts generally aren't a thing anymore for non-broadcast. But for radio and television, conflicts are still very much a thing. You can very much get yourself in big trouble if you enter into a contract where you should be conflicted out and you just go like, well, they don't need to know. If that client finds out, you may find yourself in some legal trouble. So all this is to say that I don't have enough time in this business to know if this is a fair and proper rate. An agent could probably answer that better. Some rep, like, this is non-union, so really any rate is the rate. And if people are auditioning for it, then that is a fair market rate. At least 154 other talent have thought like, well, sure, yeah, I can do that. So maybe that's just what it is. But man, getting conflicted out for a whole year nationally. See, conflicts can be geographical too. It's not just the kind of product. So it's like, oh, is it burgers? So if you do an ad for McDonald's, you are going to be conflicted out of Burger King and Dairy Queen and Whataburger and all that kind of stuff. But it can be geographical. So you can do a burger joint that only exists in somewhere like Texas. So if you did a Whataburger ad, but then I'm trying to think of like a Northeastern burger brand, and I can't. But let's just say, I don't know, is White Castle? I don't think White Castle's in Texas. So let's just, for the sake of this mental exercise, let's pretend that Whataburger and White Castle are completely exclusive to each other geographically. Let's just pretend that there is no place in the country where there's a White Castle and a Whataburger in the same town. But even that doesn't matter. It matters where your ad is playing. So if I do an ad for Whataburger that's only going to play in Houston, Texas, and then I do an ad for White Castle that's only going to play in Los Angeles, that's fine. There is no conflict there because the geographies are separate. It's when you start merging geographies, and then obviously the product is a category conflict there. That's why once you start really looking at these kinds of things where you're actually going to be getting television and radio and things going on, if you don't already have an agent and you're looking at that kind of stuff and things are starting to happen for you, you should probably find an agent or someone who can help you navigate that. Somewhere there's going to be a big spreadsheet that has all of your ads that are currently running, how long they're running for, is there an option to extend, will you be notified of the extension, all of these things that you need to keep in track so that you never, ever, ever conflict yourself. Big stuff to be aware of. It's something that I I've only just learned about as I've really gotten further into the industry. I haven't had it come up yet, but maybe I'll have that wonderful problem to have. All of that said, for practice, for the sake of the stream, screw it. Let's go ahead and do this audition. Do as I say, not as I do, people. Good mornings make for better days. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Sure. We'll give them these two. Right here and right here. I'm gonna do that. There we go. My OCD, which isn't really OCD, but my spidey sense will tingle if I see all that mess on the waveform there. So we got to clear that out there. All right, whatever. Good enough. Gave him 2 reads. Should be good enough. Let's take a look here. We're just going to call this Wrangler. Wrangler. Boom, boom, boom. Do that. And then put in our standard quote there, which is $23.90 on that. Wrangler. Actually, we'll do $22.90. That's our standard for that range there. All right, get the next track ready to go. And we just heard a job come in on voices.com, so let's take a look at it. Mulehide. What? So, interesting. Role, narrator, genuine, articulate. All right. We don't really know what this is, but we're going to do a cold read and find out and be surprised. Do you really know what it takes to be a champion? It's not just about... Do you really know what it takes to be a champion? It's not just about basking in the glory, savoring the sweet, sweet taste... Okay. Do you really know what it takes to be a champion? It's not just about basking in the glory, savoring the sweet, sweet taste of victory, although that's part of it. No. To truly understand a champion, you must dive into their psyche. You must grasp the quirks, the oddities, the downright bizarre habits that make them who they are. Only then will you realize how these everyday mortals have ascended to greatness. Mulehide Products is full of champions, and some of them have graciously... Let's see here. Greatness. Mulehide Products is full of champions, and some of them have graciously agreed to allow us... Holy, I don't know why that's hard to read. Champions. And some of them have graciously agreed to allow us a glimpse into their... Champions. And some of them have graciously agreed to allow us a glimpse into their journey to the top. So this is going to be some kind of... So it's going to be like an employee showcase, like, hey, this is Jen from accounting, and she's a champion, and, this is a little bit about her. That's the sense that I get here. So I've gone about this read. I was going more lighthearted and everything, and if I had bothered to read the damn specs, I would have seen dramatic, epic read. So read the specs, people. All right. So let's give them more of what they're asking for. After my stomach starts bubbling. Do you really know what it takes to be a champion? Do you really know what it takes to be a champion? It's not just about basking in the glory, savoring the sweet, sweet taste of victory, although that's part of it. No, to truly understand a champion, you must dive into their psyche. You must grasp the quirks, the oddities, the downright bizarre habits that make them who they are. The oddities, the downright bizarre habits that make them who they are. Only then will you realize how these everyday mortals have ascended to greatness. Mulehide Products is full of champions, and some of them have graciously agreed to allow us a glimpse into their journey to the top. Cool. So we're going to see if they like that. Let's go ahead. Hello. Okay. Make our cut here. Tab and paste here. There we go. Grab everything, hit our crossfades, bounce this out, and we're good to go. Mulehide. There we go. Budget $250, and there we go. And turn you off, and then zoom here, and we're good to go again. Send the response. We were number 11 in line. Not so bad, not so bad. Roofing company, social posts. 80 responses in line ahead of us. Friendly yet husky. I really would like to submit for this, but 80 people in line ahead of us. No, we're gonna try to move through a lot of these that we're not going to be doing. For example, this 106 people in line in front of us. We're not going to get heard. So this 73 people in line ahead of us for a pretty small budget. We're going to get through these so that we can get to our audiobook work. That is the focus for today and for the next couple of weeks here. We've got a lot of work to do. I did see this come in last night, and I should have done it right away when I saw it. Port of Beaumont. I used to live in Houston, which is close to Beaumont. Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, and just like the mention of military, like, God, these are the jobs where the little note that you get to send to the client along with your audition, I feel plays really heavily into my favor. Just being able to say, hey, I am a military veteran and a former resident of Houston, Texas, like, that would matter to this client. But 107 people in line ahead of us, ain't no way that we're going to get heard. So moving on to Voice123. We're going to come off of the full screen view here for just a moment while I make sure that none of these clients have posted their full first and last name in the client information section. This is something that, okay, that is clearly not their actual first and last name. This is something that our friends at Voice123 have asked us to do. They've asked us to not show the full first and last name of clients. Clients have the option of doing that or of having their name be like anonymized. So it just says client number, yada, yada, yada. And it looks like every one of these clients has chosen the yada, yada, yada. So the first way that we eliminate jobs on Voice123 is by zooming in here a little bit so you can see these two numbers here. 97 out of 50. So they've requested to hear 50 proposals or auditions, and they've already received 97. So it's extremely unlikely that you will be heard if they've already got their cap met. So 30 out of 30, 50 out of 50, 97 out of 50. Ain't no way this client's ever going to hear us. So we're going to say goodbye to those 3 jobs, even though one of those was a direct invite from the client. But I have a suspicion that that client went and sent a million direct invites, and that's why they've got so many proposals. 56 out of 40. Nope. Keep scrolling here. 56 out of 50. I'm going to look at this real quick just because I'm interested. I'm curious. I don't know that I've seen many, if any, conservative-leaning political spots. And here is one. So very interesting. For these 56 people who've submitted, make sure that's actually what you align with. Don't just read it because oh, I'm an actor, I can read anything. For politicals, you need to make sure that you actually do personally align with the copy, because that's like nowadays, that's how the industry is. Like, you need to pick your side, and stick with it for politicals. Like, yeah, $300, like, ooh, like, great, but it'll hurt you in the long run if it is discovered that you have been doing both sides of the aisle. Many of these political casting directors will view that as an absolute no-go if you've done both sides of the aisle. So pick a side, my friends. We are going to go through, and that's over the number of proposals. We're sending that away. It looks like we've looked at all the ones that are over the threshold. Now let's look at other reasons we pass on jobs. And this one right here is really simple because it says looking for a quote. We don't submit for jobs that say looking for a quote because we are not mind readers. I don't know how much money that this client has to spend or what they're wanting to spend unless they say something in here. They don't. They don't give us any idea how much they actually want to spend. So if we quote them too high, they're going to go, well, we can't afford him, so we're not going to hire him, obviously, and we're not even going to shortlist him. Suddenly, we're getting dinged in the algorithm because we've quoted too high. What if we quote too low? The client might go, I've got $5,000 to spend on a voiceover, and this guy only quoted me $600. Clearly, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what the fair market value for a job like this is, so he's not serious. So we're not going to hire him, and we're not going to shortlist him. So suddenly, I'm getting dinged for quoting something too low. So I'm not going to risk my position in the Voice123 algorithm on a crapshoot of whether I can read this client's mind as far as where their budget is. I really hate that is a thing on this website. It's the single biggest complaint that I have about Voice123 is that clients are allowed to just say this. It's bullshit. It's worthless. It's less than worthless because jobs that I might otherwise submit for, I'm not submitting for because for fear of getting dinged in the algorithm because this client is either clueless or cowardly or something and won't let us know what their budget is. Just tell us your budget. Like, we're doing business here. This isn't like, ooh, I'm going to go down to the market and I'm going to negotiate for a papaya. This is business. Like, tell us your budget. So stupid. Okay, next up, we've got a TTS job. Another thing. So TTS, so this is a double whammy. It's TTS and they're looking for a quote, it says. Usually these TTS jobs, they'll have a budget that seems like, exciting at first, like, oh, $5,000. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. But now, I will say, this might have restricted enough usage that this is potentially okay. There are restricted cases where TTS is not a career killer. But generally speaking, if you are just giving away your voice for usage that is like, hey, we're paying you for this time and you just give us the audio and we can do with it whatever we want. If you're doing that, that is very, very likely a career killer. There are going to end up, like, we're going to, I've heard that we're already seeing it from certain kinds of clients. Think you're like, maybe you're Disney's or you're like Apple's and Microsoft's and so forth. Certain kinds of clients, I'm not saying that it's them necessarily, but certain kinds of clients, they don't want any talent that they hire to have given away their voice to a TTS project of any kind. Because if something is the voice of Disney and then suddenly there is that same voice that is out there doing ads for, say, a Disney competitor, or say something that Disney does not want to be associated with, say tobacco or gambling or something worse, things that would just harm their brand by association with your voice, then that's the kind of thing that can absolutely be a deal killer. And so, you want a quote? Yeah, my quote is $1 million, and that is not being facetious. That is a real number that it would take for me to do a text-to-speech job to where I'm giving it away. Now, again, first of all, I ain't reading all this for anything that's text-to-speech related and for anything that has looking for a quote. Maybe there's more details about how to build the quote, if you will. And maybe there's some really restricted like usage type stuff, like down here in this section here. It says it's going to be for a toy bear. And if that's it, like if that really is all, maybe that's fine. And like it says, they're gonna a release form will follow. So it's not just like you do the deal on Voice123 and that's it. It's there's gonna be other documents involved. Fine, okay, maybe that's extra protection. These are the kinds of things that you want an agent or a manager or someone to take a look at if you've got those resources available. I do not, and so I err on the side of caution. Stuff like this is toothless. This is not enforceable. Use beyond the 2-year term may be negotiated at a later time. Like, what does that mean? Who holds the power in that negotiation? Do I have the opportunity to unilaterally say no? Do you have the opportunity to unilaterally extend it without further compensation? We need to know those things. So, yeah. And I ain't reading all this stuff for your script. Anyway, TTS, like your spidey sense needs to prickle immediately whenever you see TTS. And generally speaking, if they're not paying you $1 million, you need to say no. But again, you're welcome to read all this shit if you want to put together a quote and submit for this job. I ain't going to do it. Ain't got time to read all that. So I'm just going to put TTS, decline. Our friends at Voice123, they I already knew this, but they recommended if I don't want to see the TTS jobs, that I could put in a filter that basically says that anything TTS that comes through, don't show it to me. I'm glad that I saw that job. That job could be something that I'd be interested in. If they hadn't been cowards and not put their budget range, I'd be interested in considering. But they're cowards, so they didn't put a budget range. I'm not reading all that shit to put together what I think the budget should be. And again, potentially risking my place in the Voice123 algorithm based just on their fear of putting in their actual budget. So like, I want to see the interesting, potentially acceptable TTS jobs. So if you've got like, hey, here's a weather app, and you like say, you set your alarm, and like when the alarm goes off, it plays the sound, and then it reads you the weather for the day. That's a perfect use, a very limited scope, perfect use for a TTS voice. And that's the kind of thing that I would consider doing. But the kinds of stuff that we typically see on these websites is the stuff that is ruining your career potentially. Anyway, let's look at these 5 remaining jobs and see if we want to do any of these. I can tell you right now, I'm almost certainly not going to do football culture spot update. I'm not a sports guy, and I'm not your sports read guy. U.S. broadcast 6 months for $350? What? Bro. The game. It lives beyond the field. From game day fits to playoff clips. From the bright lights to your next ring. We stated it. So, they've been careful not to reveal the client name. Who like the end client is. But, bro, U.S. broadcast 6 months for $350? Absolutely not. So we're not the right. So they're looking for Action Bronson meets Snoop Dogg in terms of vibe. So obviously this isn't for us to begin with. But whoever that talent is, absolutely needs to be compensated more than $350. U.S. broadcast for 6 months. Imagine being conflicted, having this voice and being conflicted out of football culture related spots, whatever this product actually is, being conflicted for 6 months for $350. What? Bro. Just. Man. I don't, like, what are we doing here? What are we paying? Like, why am I paying $888 per year if this is the kind of shit that I'm seeing in my feed? Like, $350 for 6 months of conflict. Like, I know the industry's changing. I know that rates are moving and stuff, but not for broadcast. Broadcast is still there. There's like there. My God. All right. I feel like I already submitted this. Did I not? Did I not? Maybe I submitted this on the other website. Oh no. You know what? I passed because for reasons. So we're gonna pass on that. Undefeated Spirit. Is this the same? A sea captain with a hint of a Scottish or Irish accent? All right. Anyway, we're going to pass on that. Cartoon series, voice actor 1 and 2. Cartoon test episodes. So this here is standard, like, never mind that the budget is really, really low. $100 for various characters per batch of episodes. So I haven't done any big animation work, but in the big time animation industry, it is completely standard to where if you book a gig on a show on Cartoon Network or whatever, that maybe you'll book based on an audition for a single character, but you will be expected to be able to provide voices for 3, maybe even more characters on the show for no additional compensation. This is a standard thing that is known and accepted, and agents and talent alike are agreeing to this and have been for dozens and dozens of years. So if you see something like this, don't be like, oh my God, what? Now you want me to voice this other character for animation? This is accepted. This budget ain't. But whatever. You may be at a point in your career where voicing a few thousand words for $100 is okay. Everyone's got to start somewhere, I guess. Hold on here. Okay. So here they're actually giving you the voices that they want. Talk like a robot. And they're listing references and stuff, and they've got actually links to references, and that's great. Like, it's great that they've put some effort into this. They could also put some budget into it, but you know what? Whatever. Good luck to whoever goes for this. Just wish the budget was more. Like, committing to a project like this, I mean, and I guess it says this could turn into a monthly job. That's like every other. Oh, this could turn into something big for you. Okay. So yeah, so maybe you get $100 every month. Oh my God. Yeah. Good luck to both the client and any talent who submit for that. And that's it for voices.com and Voice123. Let's head over here to ACX, and I can already see, refreshing here, we've already seen all of these auditions. So there's nothing new here for us to take a look at, but we're going to, let's take a look just for fun. We'll peek into royalty share. And maybe we'll look at a couple and we'll talk about why yes or why no. Okay. Welcome to boy.net. Ooh. let's see here. Okay. So you'll often see, multiple things posted in sequence. Let's take a look at a couple of these. So if you saw one of these in a vacuum, if you saw it by itself, you might go like, okay, I like the cover. The cover's got some design. It's got some interesting visuals going on. It's got, there's a some thought went into the design of this cover. Now, you've judged the book by its cover, which is a good thing to do on ACX. When you are filtering out what kind of jobs you do and don't want to submit auditions for, the first thing you should do is judge the book by its cover. If the cover, I'm trying to find like a truly, truly terrible, like this is, I would call this bad, but it's supposed to be goofy. So maybe that's fine for what the book is. I'm trying to find something that's truly like this. Okay, this here. This is a template. Open in a new tab, please. This is a template. I see this all the time where it's this or a similar background. We've got a stripe of color, and then we've got text above and text over the stripe of color. If a rights holder is not willing to spend money on proper layout and design for the art on their book, do you really want to get into a royalty share agreement with them? Hello? Hello, Chicky Nuggy. I know who that is. Welcome to the stream. I'm talking shit about books. Royalty share. You're splitting profits 50-50 with the rights holder. If the rights holder is only willing to spend probably $0 on art, do you really think that they're going to spend good money marketing their book to where it's actually going to sell enough copies for you to recoup what you should for your time? Probably not. So you absolutely should judge a book by its cover. So if you see something, and as you scroll through ACX, you'll start to get a feel for the kinds of look at this. See, I wasn't lying. It's the exact same cover. Open image, new tab. It's the exact same cover. And in fact, it might be, they didn't even put the stripe on there themselves. The stripe is there. It's embedded in the image. They just put the text there. Oh my God. Let alone the content of this book would not be something we would consider. But, this, anything that you see that's a template, you should pass if you are doing a royalty share. And as you scroll through ACX, as you spend more time on here and you get a sense for what things are about, you'll just get a sense like, hey, this art looks amazing. Look at that. There's a good chance that maybe it's AI art, and so maybe they did spend $0 on the art itself. But then you look at the other elements and see, actually maybe this text seems pretty simple and it has a very elementary drop shadow on it. And I don't like how crowded this down here looks. So, but whatever. It passes the small version sniff test, if you will. But judging the book by the cover is the first step. The next steps, just right here, estimated length, 0.4 hours. That's an absolute no for me. An easy shorthand to determine how experienced an audiobook narrator is how many books have you done? I am currently working on my 33rd book. By the end of the year, I'll pass 40. And I haven't been doing this for that long, but once you get over 25 to 30, that sort of is a threshold that sort of demonstrates to potential partners, business partners, that, hey, I've been doing this for long enough that it's likely that given another year, I'm still going to be doing this. If someone's done 10 books, I'm like, all right, let's see if you stick around. Let's see if you stick it out for another year. But all of that assumes that we all mean the same thing when we say books because if your books are less than an hour long, I mean, that's not a book, man. That's a brochure. That's a leaflet. That's something that you read while you're in the waiting room at the dentist. So if you tell someone, hey, I've done 50 books, you should take me seriously. And they go, wow, that's amazing. I'm going to work with this person. And if they look up your portfolio and they see a bunch of this shit, they're going to feel like you were trying to pull one over on them, and they're not going to take that very nicely. So I understand if like your absolute first book is a super short title. Like when I say super short, I don't mean this. I mean less than 3 hours. That's super short. Now, if you're building a career of children's books, totally a different story. But if you're trying to build like a career of doing regular books, then you really, really need to steer clear of these kinds of titles that are super short. It's not going to help you in the long run. Again, do one to get your start, just so you can see, like, do I hate this? Do I actually want to spend hours every day in my dark booth, maybe in my closet all alone, breathing my own recycled carbon dioxide? I don't know. So yeah, that's the next thing is book length. Got to be really wary of that. Generally speaking, though, looking at these, it's hard for me to really tease out why I see this, and I mean, even without this information here, that it's a really short. Okay, those are different. It's hard, but my spidey sense tingles. Just if all you showed me was this, my spidey sense would tingle. Decoding dementia. There's something about that. And overcoming bronchiectasis. Something tingles, because you see a lot of simple how-tos, guides, cookbooks, exercise routines, diets. I think I already said that. There's a lot of those that you'll see, especially when you're in the royalty share section, that you just want to avoid. You just want to avoid doing those, not just because it's not going to be great for your career, but it's just going to be miserable to read those. It really is. Oh, God, look at this. Infotainment Guide to Effective Sales Presentations. This actually might be a very real thing. This might be a real project. It is, and it's long. Okay, here's the other side of the coin. 14 hours, 130,000 words. 14 hours for a royalty share. Royalty share, you only get paid if the thing sells. So every project that you take on for royalty share is a gamble. How big a bet do you want to make? Spending all that time, you're going to be working for weeks on a 14-hour audiobook. Especially if you're a newer narrator, that's maybe a multi-month project for a brand new narrator. Spending all that time for the potential that maybe you'll earn some money. And now you can snoop a little bit and go okay, this thing released 2 days ago and has 0 ratings on Amazon. Let's view it on Amazon. Okay, has 4 ratings. Clearly there's some kind of a lag there. So it has 4 ratings on Amazon. I'm curious if these are all people in this author's professional network who perhaps have been encouraged to please go leave a review and make sure it's 5 stars and make sure you say good things about it. I don't know. I'm not going to say one way or another. But, it doesn't seem like this is going to hit the bestseller list. So just keep that in mind when you're considering really long projects for royalty share. The vast majority of my portfolio is per finished hour, just paid contract work, basically. Hello, I will give you the audio. Yes, please give me cash in exchange. And there is the end of the transaction. There's no ongoing like, I'm getting royalties, in my account every month from ACX Audible. I've done a few, and yeah, like every month, like I get notifications like, oh, cool, $20. That's how it is. And it's basically a numbers game. Basically, you do royalty share after royalty share after royalty share, and eventually, and they all sell like crap, but eventually you get lucky. You get one that blows up in some, little internet sub-community, and then it sort of expands broader from there. And, you've done 40 royalty share titles, and you pay your bills with one of those. And then you just sort of start the process again of trying to play that numbers game until you get another one that will help supplement after that first one starts to fall off, which it will. That doesn't sound very fun to me. Like once you've built up the pipeline to where like there's enough sort of latent, ongoing, recurring purchasing type activity happening to where like, if you are sick or go on vacation or just for whatever reason you're not working for a couple months, the money still comes in because you've built up this giant royalty share portfolio. I'm fine. I'm good. I'd rather have my money now, please, and I'll do with it what I want to right now. Thank you. I'll build up some savings, and that's how I will bridge the gap in the lean months. Thank you very much. So that's my philosophy and approach. But, like I said, when you're first starting, you might have to gamble a little bit by taking one of these less prestigious entry-level royalty share projects. And keep in mind that a rights holder is also kind of gambling on you as the narrator. If you've got literally 0 books in your portfolio, then, why would a rights holder, like, unless you are literally the only listenable audition that they get, and some of these rights holders get hundreds of auditions, like, man, that's a hard connection to make. You got to really be compelling in your auditions. It's got to be, the audio's got to be good, the performance has got to be good, and you've just got to make your case. You've got to come across well in the message that you send along with your audition. And really present yourself as a professional, even though you don't have a portfolio that might say that for you. The first couple jobs, those are tough to get for sure. Thankfully, I'm at the point in my career where, generally speaking, the work just kind of gets referred to me either through publishers that I've worked with or from authors sort of coming back for, hey, sequel is ready to go. When can I get on your calendar? And that's a great and wonderful place to be. And I've worked for a few years now to get to that point. But yeah, those first couple books, the rights holders, they're gambling on you just as much as you're gambling on them. And I've heard from 3 different rights holders this year that have had to back out of contracts with narrators because for one reason or another, they didn't get what they expected. Either the narrator... There was a case where a narrator submitted an audition, and it sounded great. Rights holder was very happy to book that narrator and move forward with a contract. But then when it came to delivering the final audio, it was AI audio. It was generated text to speech. And so obviously it was just, no matter how good it is, it's going to become apparent sooner or later as you're listening to an entire audiobook. And so the author terminated the contract right away. The narrator didn't get paid a dime. And that is to try to pull that, what kind of scam? That's unbelievable. Another story is that a narrator misrepresented their ability to produce on a deadline. Sound was great. The rights holder was really happy to pick up this narrator. Everything was sounding good. And then when it came time to like, hey, how's the project going? Are we on schedule for what we talked about? Well, things are, and just delaying. And finally, when they sort of had a come to Jesus moment, turned out that this narrator was not able to work because of outside factors. They weren't able to work on the project as much as perhaps they would like to, and it was going to take them months to produce like a 10-hour audiobook. Like, if you're in that situation, like, yeah, fine, be extremely candid about that with your potential business partners, but maybe this isn't for you. Like, I can't imagine spending that long on a project. Audiobooks turn around relatively quickly, and I think that's good because from the pre-read to reading the final pages, so pre-read before recording to recording the final pages, I don't want there to be a ton of time between there because I want everything to be fresh in my mind as I'm narrating it. I want all of the characters and their characterizations. I want the relationships, the mood in each scene. When I'm recording the epilogue, I want to remember the epilogue from my pre-read. I want to remember, okay, how does the author put a bow on all of these little subplot lines here in the epilogue? Like, I want to remember all that because it affects the way I read. And if I'm spending months on a project, when I get to the epilogue, ain't no way I'm going to remember what the hell happened based on my pre-read. So, we've talked long enough, I feel, about just some of the random stuff here in the world of audiobooks. Man, I don't frequently poke my head into the royalty share mess, but oh boy, I'm glad that I'm not having to do this daily. Yeah, I'm just trying to think like what books of these. Let's do this as an exercise real quick. I've got this sorted. Basically, let's do some genre sorting. Let's get out children's. Let's get out home and garden, health and wellness, erotica. Let's take out, I think that's probably fine. Let's leave everything else in. In theory, I would narrate just about any of these other things. And I've got things showing me. Oh, let's also sort by male, please. There we go. So it's there are 553 projects that fit these criteria. I've got it set to show me 100 audiobooks. I am going to very quickly scroll through, and I won't really be able to describe it as we're going through, but I'm going to try to do it really, really quickly. I'm going to open in a new tab every book that I might consider if I was really like hungry for an audiobook to fill my time. So, just starting at the top. Sure, let's look at Glass Wings. Simple Guide to Investing, no. Echoes of a Noble Heart, sure, that looks good. I Give You My Heart, maybe, sure. There Ought to Be Shadows. Some of these are looking like romance, so they're probably not for me, but we're going to keep going. Sure. I need to make sure that these are actually opening in a new tab. They are, okay. Sure. We will look at that. No. Okay. So rolling through. Actually, that one would actually be a no, but we'll discuss why. A lot of these are not in English, so I didn't. Maybe. So let's see here. Yeah, a lot of these are not in English, and that's fine. Are they using the Chad? Oh my God, I love it. Okay. We are more than halfway through, and now I'm really trying to schmoove through this. Let's take a look here. You know what? Oh, no. This one's a no, actually. There was oh, you definitely don't want to be doing these. Anytime that it's 1,000 something, 1,000 jokes, 1,000 positive affirmations, 1,000 whatever, don't take those jobs. I mean, I guess someone has to. Maybe. I don't know. It's not going to help. It's not going to look good in your portfolio. I'm going to look at this just because it's got a font that reminds me of the Chronicles of Shannara, I think is what the books were called. This has got super cool art. We'll look at that. This maybe... No. And we've got an email. That's just... So that's everything. So I've opened up... this looks like 15-ish tabs, which is more than I thought I would see. But let's go through real quick, and after just real quick investigation, just say why, yay, or nay would I audition for this. Glass Wings. And I just picked it because, you know, interesting book cover. It's a bit busy. That makes the legibility of the title, especially in a small format, a little bit tough. If this was on your phone and you were scrolling, you probably wouldn't be able to read that. So this releases today. Wait. Oh no, this has not been published yet at all. So that is why you've got 0 ratings. So totally understandable. Publication date, it's set for future publish. They're talking about it's got pre-orders. The author has so many followers. So a big difference between per finished hour projects and royalty share projects is usually the rights holder will use this section here for royalty share to talk about what they're doing marketing-wise, and they're kind of selling you, the narrator, of like why this is going to be a royalty share success, and you should want to be on the team. Oh my God, Chicky Nuggy, absolutely. The market for not just audiobook narration. Sorry, I'm only seeing this. I've been lost in the sauce. The market for especially bilingual talent, especially authentic bilingual talent. Like, I speak a fair amount of Spanish, but the job that I will be right for in a bilingual situation is like a unicorn. Like, I've never seen it. Maybe it exists out there. Like, hey, we've got this product and we want this gringo-ass accent reading the Spanish copy. Maybe. But I haven't found it yet. But, you know, for someone who authentically, like, the voiceover industry and audiobooks absolutely fall in line with this, like, authenticity in the representation of the talent that people hear, even though people can't see your skin color when you're just doing voiceover, it still matters, because with social media, people can do 5 minutes of research, find out who voiced that spot for Charmin Ultra, and go like, the visuals was like a black family, and the voiceover sounded black, but I looked it up, and there's some Rachel Dolezal ass shit going on. Like, that can absolutely damage your brand if you have casted something inauthentically. So, like, yeah, absolutely, authenticity in casting is definitely huge. So, whatever the intersectionality of a given talent, there are jobs out there that call for that, and basically make it so that those jobs are only appropriate for those talent. And I'm not complaining. There are plenty of jobs available for people that look like this. But yeah, bilingual talents. And I get upset when I see jobs or products looking for talent, especially bilingual talent, but in a different language other than English in general, but certainly bilingual talent that have low budgets, because that is an extremely, like, that's a very unique and valuable skill set to be able to speak more than one language and to be able to do it with authenticity, with fluency, with the appropriate sort of native comfort and inflection and everything that comes with that. That's a rare skill set, and you should be compensated for the rarity of your skill set. So I just, it's so frequent that you see like, oh, this is like a bilingual job, and like, but the job pays half what a similar job might pay for just like English talent. It's like, wait. That should piss me off. Okay. All that said, we're talking more about this now, and I'll glance more at chat more frequently. I promise. So let's see here. Debut novel, first of 3. Preference is to keep the same narrator for the entire series. That can be great. You know, if book 1 does great, then, you know, boom, there's guaranteed job and somewhat forecastable income. You get a little bit of fall off from book to book, but hopefully your fall off isn't more than, you know, maybe 5 to 10% if it's a really good book. If your fall off is like 50%, like only half the people who read book 1 read book 2, that's probably, there's something going wrong there. But let's take a look here. It centers around, there's a female lead character, so I'm curious as to why they're considering a male narrator. I mean, I have narrated plenty of books where the lead character is indeed female. So it's not that it can't be done, or that it's, you know, totally inappropriate to do it, but it's something to consider. But this is one that I actually might consider. I would probably pull up the audition itself next, and maybe I'd look and see if, you know, whatever there. And it looks like they've done 2 different excerpts. This is all good. Like this rights holder has done their homework. They have done a good job of posting this project. So this is a great example of a perfectly feasible, like, reasonable book to do. It's a bit long, 10 hours. But, you know, I'm getting a warm fuzzy from the information that has been provided by the rights holder that makes me think that, hey, there's a chance that I could actually recoup my time investment here. So, good for them. I'm not actually going to do it. We're going to move on. Echoes of a Noble Heart, Book 1. Why did I consider this one? I mean, it's looking like it's probably romance, which is not really my thing. A modern fantasy travel with Alistair, a hotshot criminal defense attorney. Let's see here. This one has already released. It's been out for 4 days, and it has 0 ratings. Now, again, you got to check the actual Amazon listing because there's a delay. And it looks like maybe it actually does have 0 ratings. Yeah, see, that's not great. That's not great. If you're going to be, 12 and a half hours, if you're going to be spending all that time narrating an audiobook, you for royalty share, you want to know that you're going to be able to recoup your investment. If it's per finished hour, I don't give a damn if you never sell a copy. I mean, I want you to. Like, I want everybody to succeed. But, you know, once I'm paid, that sounds really crass. And maybe it is. But, like, business-wise, it really doesn't matter to me if you don't sell a ton of copies. And not every book is meant to sell a ton of copies. You know, if it's a textbook that's for like a graduate level course, then yeah, you're probably not going to sell more than, 40 copies every semester when it comes around. And so that's a perfect candidate for doing a per finished hour deal rather than doing a royalty share deal. Like, just please pay me for my performance and let's both move along. Okay, let's take a look here. I Give You My Heart, the Maiden Song. I don't know why I picked, I grabbed this because, like, interesting cover. Looks like some effort went into it, or at least a mask layer in Photoshop. But it does seem very much like this would be probably maybe it's a dual narration, or maybe it's just a female narrator. They've left it open to everything. So I will say obviously we wouldn't be doing this because the accent is British. So I can do a British accent for individual characters in a story, but you only want to commit to doing an audition for a book like this if you can live in the accent, is how I describe it. If you can live in the accent and no one will ever suspect that you're faking it, then yeah, go ahead, do an audition and, try to commit to doing a whole audiobook. So this is my day-to-day accent. I'm not putting anything on. It's my general American accent. And this is my Texas accent. I can turn it up if I need to. And depending on who I'm hanging around and how many beers I had, the Texan can really come out a little bit more. But the point is that this accent, I can live in it. I could go, if you dropped me in the middle of a Texas National Guard unit that was deploying, I would be able to slip right in there, and ain't nobody would ever know that I wasn't one of the fellas. And so if I got a Western or, some kind of like story about roughnecking, out on a rig in the Gulf or something like that, I could narrate the entire thing in that accent. And I can do various British, Irish, other European. I can do a fair range of accents. Sometimes I need to study up a little bit if it's a particular character or something. But for those accents, I would never claim to be able to live in those accents. And so I would never audition for a book that was specifically calling for BBC English throughout the entire book. And that just means that it's not that, the main character is British. That means that they want the narration, the general narration, the prose. They want that to be British. And so that's not us. There ought to be shadows. And we got a nice cigarette there. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, but sometimes it just seems appealing, We've got another case of what I believe is a new accent category on ACX, Black or African American. Obviously, that's not us, so we're passing on that one. The Morning of Leon Manor. So this one, I'm not feeling great about it. If I'm considering doing a royalty share, I'm not feeling great about it because the author has put nothing in any of these categories. Why would you not put a little bit of effort into this? You're looking for a narrator who's going to work on your 9-hour book. Why wouldn't you put a little bit of effort? Help us help you. Give us a little bit of direction. Let us know what accent you're looking for. Let us know, this is so, and they put nothing here. Yeah, nah. See, cover looks great, but I'm actually my scam spidey senses are actually tingling with this one. Let's investigate and see if we've got a scam here. Okay, so this text is not an obvious scam. It's way too long. Way too long. The industry standard for audiobooks is 3 to 5 minutes for an audition. And it's all one scene, so there's no reason for them to have given us an excerpt this long. So for this, if you really wanted to do this, read until you're at somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes and just stop. Find a good stopping place, but just stop. There's absolutely no reason. I'm just going to guess that this would probably be like 15 to 20 minutes of text. Maybe not that long. Still way too long for an audition. What I was expecting to see that would have absolutely been like, this is a scam, is if the audition reads like advertising copy. If the audition was like, The Morning of Leon Manor, the newest title from A.M. Davis, will make you super happy and you're going to totally want to read it, and it's coming out. It's out now on Amazon and you should buy it. If you're reading copy like that, congratulations, you just played yourself. You have just given your voice away for free for someone to use in like a YouTube ad or something. So never do that. Let's look at this title on Amazon to see if it's a scam. Seems like a real book. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible that this is a real thing, but just never, not filling any of this out. Like, why would you do that? Like, maybe someone at Quill and Crow Publishing House is posting this on behalf of the author. In which case, maybe this author needs to fire that person. Because this is lazy. This is crap. This, and then posting this way too long audition script, like, that's crap. Like, whoever is doing this on behalf of the author, if that is the case, like, you need to reconsider your life. Like, I hope you're not being paid a lot to do that, because you're taking advantage of someone if you are. This is crap. Moving along, Phantom, the Elite Series, Book 1. 8 hours. We've got some good character descriptions here. That's what you like to see. In the About This, here it is. We've got this author's making their case. Hey, I've got all of these readers on Good Novel, all of these followers on Instagram and TikTok and all this other stuff. Like, this is great. We're already seeing some Amazon sales ranking and rating details here. It published back in March. That might make you go like, okay, it published back in March and you only have 4 ratings. That's not so great. But not everybody rates, so who knows. But, and we've got all of this information filled out. Look at this. Everything. Accent, age, everything's filled out. So that's what you like to see. This person has put in the effort. I've got no spidey sense tingling about maybe this is a scam. This is a real job for sure. I don't know if it's worth my time. If I had a gap in my schedule, which I do not, I don't know that I would do this, because just generally, royalty share is not my jam. But I think this would be a great first project for a newer narrator. So there you go. Next, Hometown, S.A. Fanning. Cover looks great. About 8 hours. We don't have any notes here from the author. That's not great. We've got no information here. That's not great. And we just have a little bit of summary here. So this feels like the one from before, where whoever posted this has done the absolute bare minimum to get this up on ACX and has basically said fuck it beyond doing anything else. And if that's your approach, then why would you expect a narrator to not also have a fuck it approach? Taking a look at this, we've got some notes from the author here. We've got a pronunciation note. That's great. They've got their plans to promote. Not a lot of detail, but whatever. But this is obviously one that we wouldn't be doing because they want Scottish. And it says General Scottish. My brother in Christ, I don't know if that's a real thing, because, like, Edinburgh versus Glasgow versus yada, yada, yada. Like, okay. Anyway, that seems like if you are Scottish or able to live in the Scottish accent, then perhaps that might be a good project for a newer narrator. The First People. Now, I'm curious. Okay, Brand Wright, a retired spy, and his friend Bubba battle many enemies, including the First People, Big Bill, Dragonfly, plus others. Interesting. So just a fun, like, monster story or whatever. Interesting. If you're into this kind of, like, science fiction that's probably filled with lots of humor and silliness, then yeah, that could be fun. The Affair. This seems like it must be some kind of romance or something. They want a British. Yeah, not a lot of info here. This would give me pause. Like, basically the only unique things that they've filled in over here are that they're looking for a British accent and that it is a romance. And that is it. Everything else is just sort of standard boilerplate or worse. Little bit of title summary that they've probably copied and pasted from the Amazon listing, and then no notes in the audition. So this, oh God, and it's only 1 hour. All right, absolute pass. Absolute pass. This will not look good in your portfolio. We've got an email, and it's a Voice123 audition, so we don't care too much about it. This one here, all right, this is important. The cover art, it's a bit cringy. It's a bit like, okay, those are the standard Photoshop drop-down menus when you bring up the blend mode. Like, yes, I want to glow on these, and I want to drop shadow on these. And that's fine. Oh, and we got a nice lens flare on top of this guy's helmet for no real reason. Love it. Let's... I'm not trying to be mean. You know, okay. We've got a fast blur on these guys behind. We did a quick crop, and then we put the Photoshop glow behind them. We dropped a lens blur here. We've got a drop shadow on all of these. We've got this nice grid in the background, and then they just dropped the moon on it with a big drop shadow on the moon. All very fun. All very fun. So here's a reason that I would be very, very hesitant to commit to this. A, it's 13 hours. That's a lot to commit to a book where the author has given us 0 details other than the title summary. Man, 13 hours, that's potentially weeks of work. You got to give us something to work with here. This is brutal. And the other reason that I'd be really hesitant here is because this is book 2. What happened to the narrator for book 1? Did that narrator decide, like, screw that, I'm never working with this person again? Like, you want to know. So something that I'll do if I was really interested in this title is I'll open up the Amazon listing, and then I'll go to book 1, and I'll see, oh, it is available on Audible. Let's listen to the sample. Let's see here. Jason Renault is our narrator. I don't know Jason.
He started, though he stopped once his eyes fell upon Charlie, who was sitting in his chair between tables. Ah, Sinclair, once again you have gained my attention. Tell me.
Sounds fine. Let's take a look at Jason's narrator page. This is the Amazon page, so it is what it is. This says no results. Wait, what? Let's see here. We'd have to look him up on that. We're going to do this. Why not? We got time. Ain't nothing else going on this stream here. We've got a voices.com job that we might take a look at. But I think this is useful. Audible.com. And then on Audible, we're going to put it in quotes, Jason Renault. So Jason Renault has narrated 4 titles. Yes. 4 titles that are up on Audible. Jason may have narrated more than that. And it looks like Jason Renault, like this is the perfect, man, what a perfect example of what a new narrator's trajectory looks like. Jason did the Stepdad Playbook. It's less than an hour, probably royalty share, and he'll probably never make any money on the time that he spent. Supply and Demand Trading, another sub 3-hour title, probably royalty share. Probably learned a lot doing both of these books. And I would bet that these 2 were the first ones that he did. And then I would bet that these were the next ones. Legacy of Man, which we just heard the sample of, and A Northern Gentleman. I would bet that these are books 3 and 4 that he has narrated. And for whatever reason, Jason Renault is not returning to narrate this. I would bet that Jason is like, all right, I know what this job is all about. I'm going to start doing books for a per finished hour rate. I'm no longer doing royalty share because I got bills to pay. And so I would bet that he passed on book 2. That would be my guess. Or maybe Jason decided audiobook narrating isn't for him. And he's like, nah, I'm not going to narrate anymore. I'm focusing more on XYZ. Maybe that's it. Who knows? We don't know exactly why he's not returning for book 2, but it is interesting to see, like, this is a common story. My story was very much the same. If you looked at my first 4 books, it's a very similar tale. And so there's no shame in getting started this way. Like, everybody's got to start somewhere. But you want to get off of the crappy royalty share train as soon as you can and get onto the better royalty share train faster if you can afford the long time that it might take to pay out. Otherwise, you're going to want to get onto the per finished hour train faster if you can, and just keep working, building that portfolio, building up your skills as a narrator and as a business owner, until you can start to push that rate up further and further and further until you can live comfortably, and also survive gaps in work, diversify your income, do all that good stuff that we talk about from time to time. Let's move on. Echoes of infringement. The boy is mine. What's that? Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. The girl is mine. The girl is mine. Mine, mine. Okay. This is the first time that I've seen this. An author explicitly crediting ChatGPT as a co-author. What? I've never seen it. So clearly, like, every part of this, like, AI, like, obviously this entire cover, this is probably like different AI generated images that have since been merged. I doubt that the AI created this all framed just as it is, but right here, Juan, I don't know if that's Juan, I think that's a Portuguese spelling of Juan, maybe, with GPT 4.0. Oh my God. Well, okay. 14 and a half hours for royalty share. Like, no, I want nothing to do with this. I'm not narrating anything. Like, no. All right, the Katarian affair. I'm sure there are plenty of titles up here, especially in the royalty share category, that ChatGPT has had a hand in one way or another. So kudos to that rights holder for displaying it right there on the cover. But man, I want nothing to do with that. Like, no thanks. All right, looking at this, we've got a little bit of stuff here. Okay. This should give you pause. Look at the original publication date of this title, 2019. So you got to ask a couple questions. Why now? Why are they trying to get an audiobook made 5 years after publication? So that should give you pause. Next, consider, all right, this thing has been on sale for 5 years and they only have 10 ratings? So with that, also consider, like, do we think that 5 years after publication, if they release the audiobook, suddenly people are going to be flooding in to listen? Probably not. This seems exceedingly unlikely unless something has changed, unless this has been picked up to be a movie or something like that, or if one of the author's other books has become a mega success. That is something that you'll find, where maybe they'll go back and like, okay, this author just had like a random smash hit. Let's go back in their catalog and let's spruce up the cover art. Let's get an audiobook made, all that stuff. That stuff really, really does happen. So maybe that's what's happening here. But I would probably be passing on this. So let's close. Chaos and Creation, Book 1, The Coming of Darkness. This is absolutely the kind of book that I would have read in high school. Epic fantasy. They're looking for British accent, though. So that's why we would be passing. But this does look like a pretty good listing here. Only 4 ratings, but it's only been out for a couple months. So that kind of makes sense. Yeah. This all looks good. Looks like, at the very least, this rights holder has made an effort to fill out all the information and give us the tools that we need as narrators to give a good performance. This one here, again, like this font, is it the Chronicles of Shannara or is it Shanaria? I have to look this up. Chronicles of the Shannara Chronicles. Am I... Oh, God. No, the books, please. Oh, not a show. Books, thank you. Am I crazy? It must be a different series that I'm thinking of. I feel like, yeah. Oh, no, you know what? That's the text I remember seeing. So I'm not totally crazy. That is a bit different from this. But you see where I'm coming from? A little bit? No? I remember in high school, my older brothers, they were really into this series, and I specifically remember this one always being out on a desk somewhere. So there you go. The Harmony Saga, Book 1. We've got lots of information here. We've got good information here. American accent, comedic. So, okay, we've got some funny stuff. We've got some funnies. So this is all great. 0 ratings on something that published back in April. So that's kind of concerning. But this one's being put out by a publishing house, Spellbound Publishing House. Might have to check them out, see what's going on. But yeah. There is a lot of demand in our community for audiobooks, and it is important to us to have accessible versions of all of our publications so that... Okay. This could be a good early project for a narrator out there. Razortooth. I love this art. Look at this. I love the glory to Arkatska sort of vibe here. The Russian propaganda poster look here. Very fun. What's the name of the fictional nation in Papers, Please? Is it Arkatska? Papers, Please. Glory to Arstatska. Glory to Arstatska. If you've never played Papers, Please, great game. Let's see here. Let's look at this. All right. This is a brand new release as yet, only just kicking up some buzz. Okay. 30K on X, aka Twitter. Co-authors of /Viver. So, something you can do. So, if these authors have collaborated before, you can look for other books that they've worked on. So let's look at this. I'm not seeing /Viver. Hello? There it is. Is there an audiobook version of this one? No. But it's got 67 ratings. Like, okay, so this title has seen some measure of success here. So interesting. So this is a review on a different book. Interesting. So this is a book in the same world. The co-authors of /Viver are delighted to take you on a trip to the past to witness the birth of the most beloved maniac of all time. I would imagine that this is a prequel to /Viver. I would imagine. But it seems like this is like, if it's anything, yeah, horror in the extreme. So this would be a content warning for yourself if you were considering reading this. Legendary slasher. I'm not super interested in myself in reading like super intense horror fiction. Just not my thing. And I don't really want to narrate it. But there is a huge market. Like, there's people out there who love that stuff. So if you're super into the idea of narrating descriptions of, horrible violence, then, more power to you, and maybe this is for you. Keep in mind that if you become associated with a genre like that, you may find yourself pigeonholed into that genre. Someone who makes nice, cozy mysteries and, lovely, flowery romances probably isn't going to want the slasher horror voice on their work, because they don't want to show up in the same feed as that stuff. So maybe consider using a pseudonym for one or the other genre. So it's like, yeah, when I do slasher, I use my real name, and when I do other stuff, I use a pseudonym, or vice versa. But this, it's a bit short, but it's not so short that it's, not a real project. Last one up here. And this one looks silly, and hopefully it's not taking itself too seriously. Nothing here about it being... Looks like they might be taking themselves super seriously. Oh. Any rate, so they want the general narration in an American accent, but it does say that they want the narrator should be comfortable with various accents and characters of different races and genders. And the main character is an Irish immigrant. So you're going to have fun doing the prose in general American, and then the main character, obviously, in Irish. And you can probably, since it's set in the American Southwest in the 1880s, you're going to have some fun Texas and Western accents, I'm sure. So lots of fun accent work going on. So this one, if you're good with accents, this might be a good early book in your portfolio as well. And it is book 1, so you'd be safe to go for it there. Well, that I think is going to clear out ACX. We're done there. We're going to reload both voices and Voice123. Let's take a look here. 60-second core values narration. Very standard boilerplate kind of job that we do a lot here. Let's go ahead and just do this. We got a couple minutes left here on the stream, and then we're going to take a break, and we'll come back and we'll do some audiobook narration in a while here. At DaySmart, we're more than just an online appointment book. At DaySmart, we're more than just an online appointment book. Our team of over 300 driven employees... Hello? Just an online appointment book. Our team of over 300 driven employees across 3 separate continents strive to set a new standard for how small businesses operate. Although we're no longer just... Businesses operate. Although we're no longer a small business ourselves, our history reflects our mission. We started as... Hello? Reflects our mission. We started as Salon 2000 in 1998, before cloud computing had entered the mainstream, and... let's read there. And in 1998, before cloud computing had entered the mainstream, and now we offer services across an array of verticals that all empower small businesses across the United States and increasingly the world. Not feeling great about how many breaths I'm having to take in those. I think that we've been locked up in this room long enough that we're starting to deplete the oxygen in here, so we're having to breathe a little bit more often than we might otherwise, but that's okay. It's totally fine. Here's the edit, super fast because we did punch and roll. There it is, edit done. Hit our crossfades, turn on our mouth declick. DaySmart. DaySmart. One word. There we go. Reply. Directed session. Okay. And there we go. And submit. Now, I believe we had a job come in on Voice123, so let's go look and see if that's something we want to do. First, we're going to clear out some of these unused, or used tracks, rather. Duplicate. Make a bunch of duplicates so that we can keep working. Voice123. We got 3 jobs here. I got to make sure that we're not about to show anyone's first and last name. That is a no there, a no there, and a no there. So we can come back and look at this. Corporate manufacturing. Okay. HVAC type stuff, yada, yada, yada. Okay. We may very well do this one. Let's come back here and look at these. Gaming fans, fan conversation. Okay. Shout out to Team Liquid. An ad for Team Liquid. Very fun. We're going to pass on that one because I don't think I can authentically read that. And I don't think they want a voice of my age on that anyway. This one already has 50 over their 50 requested proposals. So we're going to be passing on that one. Oh, God. And you can see why. Budget says over $10,000. I have a feeling. My spidey sense. This is to take on the role of the main character of our new video game. The person will be responsible for a long-term contract. Okay, so maybe this is legitimate. So you're going to be like a Cookie Masterson, you know? You're going to be the voice of the game show host in there. That's super interesting. Obviously, if we were here earlier, we might have submitted for that. Very cool job, but we're going to pass on that one. We might go ahead and read, however, this corporate manufacturing job here. Let's get ready to record and do it. So let's read again the specs here. Proficient in our product, confident, humble, clean, and should speak to contractors in the HVAC and electrical industries. Oh, this sample script is from our last video, and we're looking for a new feel to our videos that is bold yet humble and commands respect. Okay. Unlike other big companies you might be used to, we don't take a cookie-cutter approach to our customers' challenges. We've built in the flexibility and agility to address your needs. Come on. Customers' challenges. We've built in the flexibility and agility to... That's what I thought. My pre-roll timing got off. I like a 2-second pre-roll when I'm doing punch and roll. And I was like, man, my punch and roll timing feels off. It's because it got shortened to just over 1 second. Our approach to our customers' challenges. We've built in the flexibility... approach to our customers' challenges. We've built in the flexibility and agility to address your needs while growing our manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution. Let's put a breath here. Flexibility and agility to address your needs while growing our manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution. Flexibility and agility to address your needs while growing our manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution capabilities, all to serve you better and help you succeed. Let's say the word capabilities, not like an idiot. In our manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution capabilities, all to serve you better and help you. In our manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution capabilities, all to serve you better and to help you succeed. And we're still doing that today. Come on. Serve you better and to help you succeed. And we're still doing that today. For example, when supply chain issues for other suppliers put distributors and installers... Oh my God! And we're still doing that today. For example, when supply chain issues for other... And we're still doing that today. For example, when supply chain issues for other suppliers put distributors and installers in a bind, we were primed to listen and find rapid solutions. Unlike other guys, to listen and find rapid solutions. Unlike the other guys, our growth is not about being big. It's about staying flexible enough to put our customers first without resorting to red tape and big company bureaucracy. It's about partnering with companies in the electrical tape and big company bureaucracy. It's about partnering with companies, tape and big company bureaucracy. It's about partnering with companies in the electrical, network infrastructure, and HVAC markets that also believe in network infrastructure, and HVAC markets that also believe in prioritizing their customers. It's about understanding that our growth and success is tied to your growth and success, and never taking that for granted. We are committed to serving... And that's probably where we're going to cut off there. Okay, let's do the edit. A bit of a mess. Holy. I'm definitely oxygen deprived. The 2-hour stream is maybe not the most forward-looking decision I've made with this whole thing. But let's listen to this transition. Manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution capabilities, all to serve... It's not the greatest, but... We're not going to agonize over the small little details. If the client likes us, they'll like us despite, and in a little bit of a way, because of the little imperfections in our voices. If the client wanted a perfect voice, they would use AI, and it would be lifeless, and it would suck. But they're using a real human, so you should be okay with that. We're, I guess, just going to call this corporate manufacturing. Okay. Go. Accept the invite. Grab that. This response looks good to me. And submit. There we go. And turn you off, and we're good to go here. All right. And so that's everything, I believe, on both Voices and Voice123. Let's refresh just to be sure. And that is it. And that is going to be where we're going to call it for the day for this particular stream. I'm going to be back on Twitch probably within the next hour or two here. And I'm going to be narrating from an audiobook. It's a real audiobook that I'm contracted to do for Podium Audio, which is really exciting. Podium is the first real big publisher that I'll be doing work for. So I'm very excited about that. The book's a lot of fun. I don't know, the book is excellent and it's a great read. It is the memoir of an an officer who was in the Marine Corps, and he was in Afghanistan about the same time I was. And so there's lots of sort of fun parallels in our experiences and certainly in our takeaways from that time and that experience. So very fun. We're going to be doing that on the stream again this evening, only on Twitch. We can't do it on YouTube because Podium has some policies and procedures that we want to comply with. So it won't be on YouTube. It will be just on Twitch. So look out for that if you are of the twitching variety. Otherwise, we're going to say goodbye for the day. We want to thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Chicky Nuggies, for stopping by. Hope to see you again soon. Maybe play some games. I don't know when the next time will be that I am able to play any games because all these audiobooks keep rolling in. And I'm not complaining, but oh boy, we are busy. So thanks for stopping by. Happy to answer any questions that you've got live on the stream or otherwise, but it was definitely fun to see your name, and thanks for subscribing or following. It makes such a huge difference. I'm going to be a star so soon. All right. Well, I hope things are going well for you and for everybody else out there. We love you, and we'll see you next time. All right. Bye.